I consider this car delivering as much fun as you can have in a car without having sex. If you are not smiling while you're driving this car, there's something wrong with you, not the car.
You know, we're only a half hour outside of Nashville, and already I think we're in barn find hunting country. All right, so Columbia, Tennessee, just back roads here and there, looking for cars like we do. And a 928 Porsche sitting over there got my attention. Bingo. All right, we found a spot. Michael answers the door. He says, I know you. I said, yes. And he said, nah, the Porsche's not mine, but I got something in the garage you might want to see. What do you got here?
Okay, this is a 1955 Cadillac 62 series. And it has factory air, and I've had it probably 20 years.
And it has a great body. Holy man.
Yes, it has a great body.
Man. So you had it 20 years. Have you driven it?
Yes, it runs right now. It has power disc brakes. The chassis has been done. The front end's been completely redone in it.
And it was originally, I guess it was originally blue?
Yes, it was originally blue.
With a white top? Or?
With a white top.
Is that like a 331?
Yes, this is a 331 engine.
With air conditioning?
With air conditioning.
Now, check out how big this air conditioning compressor was. I mean, these are the early days of air conditioning. If you think about air conditioning now on modern cars or those street rod units, they're little tiny units, but they didn't have to be tiny back then because the cars were huge. So where did you find this car?
This car was originally from Summertown, and it was sitting in a barn when I got it.
In a barn?
Well, I was just out riding one day and looking in barns, and I found it in the barn.
Like we do. Wow. Maybe we could deputize you. You've driven it, it shifts well, the brakes work well?
Well, yes. In 1987, it was my daily driver.
Wow.
Yes.
So, I noticed under your carport, you've got a Mercedes Roadster?
Yes, that's a Mercedes Roadster. It's an 82 380 SL under there.
A 380, that's an unusual one.
Yes,
it doesn't have a manual gearbox, does it?
No, it has an automatic.
Okay. Now, is that a running driving car?
I'm going to say it probably does not run.
Because it's been a while?
Because it's been 20 years, probably 10 years since it's been started.
Yeah. You know, we don't have to take the whole cover off.
The interior's rough in it, that's what it is.
Yeah. So there's nothing mechanically wrong with this car, you think?
No, it's basically cosmetic.
Yeah. You know, these old Mercedes, people don't appreciate these yet, but I think they're that close to becoming
Well, that's what I think, that one day that they're going to become more popular and more people going to want them, and I'm going to have one.
You didn't know you were going to be a star today when you woke up, I bet.
No, I didn't. I had no idea.
But you'll have agents calling you in Hollywood and all sorts of stuff. Are all those your vehicles?
Yes. Okay, the Econoline is a 1963 Ford Econoline.
Yeah.
And it has a 289 with the automatic in it.
Most of them were 6-cylinders.
I know. It was 6-cylinder, but I changed it to 289 probably 20, 30 years ago.
Did you have to put the engine from the bottom or through the door?
I went through the door.
And rusty floors.
And rusty floors, so it's...
Yep. Well, rest in peace.
Yes.
Rust in peace. So what year is this one?
1969 Mercedes 220D.
How long have you had this one?
I've had that probably 5 years. It's rusty, but I like the rust in it.
Well, that's the trend.
Okay, mechanically, it's been redone underneath.
You did it?
Yes. Well, the engine already did have something like maybe 30,000 miles on it, but I redid suspension, brakes, everything. Differential.
So it seems to me you buy cars easy and sell them hard. In other words, you acquire them, but you don't want to get rid of them.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yep. Michael, thanks. Yeah. I mean, you know, and what a pleasure. Well, now I know who you are too. So
good.
Thanks so much for allowing us to look at your cars.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Thank you. I assume that this garage, this barn, is attached to that house, and there's a Chrysler inside there. Nobody was home. But at least, you know, we're only a half hour outside of Nashville, and already, I think we're in barn find hunting country. Riding down the road, and I'm like a radar beacon looking back and forth, and I saw an El Camino at that house over there. Oh, let's go check it out. The guy said, I don't want you really looking at my car. Okay, that's fine. But I look across the street and there's another El Camino. I mean, what's the deal here?
They're rare, especially that was the last body style. They ran from 82 to 88, and they don't make them anymore, so they're very rare.
So I didn't knock on the door. He's out in the driveway. So Brian, thanks for allowing us to come in here.
Yes, sir.
So tell us why you have it and how long you have it and all that good stuff.
It was a one owner. It needed a motor, so I put a motor and transmission last summer. It's an HO 305.
It seems to have a good body. Wow.
The body is excellent. There's no damage to it at all.
Have you driven it?
We've driven it, yeah. It's been sitting here about 2 months now because of all the snow we had.
That's as straight as an arrow. So how long have you had this one?
About 6 years. It's all original, except I think it's all original. Even the hubcaps are original.
So this has got, I mean, all the deluxe trim, the deluxe hubcaps, two-tone paint.
Two-tone.
I mean, this has got all the options.
This is the Conquista, which is the top of the line at that time.
Okay.
I had people all the time stopping.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
So we're not the first.
No. And especially being two-tone.
Is that original paint, do you think?
Yep. I bought it from the original owner.
And how many miles do you figure?
It had 78,000 miles on it.
So it's not for sale. This
Nope.
Yeah.
I'll never sell that.
How do you find one-owner cars?
I do home repairs for people, so I'm all over Tennessee. And a lot of times I'll do work and I'll just trade the vehicles out.
So I just wrote a book about barn finds, and one of the things I recommend is make friends with somebody that can go on private property legally, like you can. You can go to some place that I can't get to and look inside the garage and find stuff. So can UPS people, police officers, landscapers. So you got the ideal job, man. Well, thanks for letting us barge in on you and Mocha's private time, man. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Thanks. We spent a good part of the morning driving around south of Nashville, Leapers Fork, Franklin. I got a lead on the phone. He said, you got to look up this guy, Mike. He's got a bunch of cool cars in his building. So here we are. And Mike, thanks for getting up off the couch and opening the garage door and showing us what you got here.
Not a problem.
I love the stories about cars, and I think you have some stories about the cars.
Anybody who's got this crap has stories.
So
Yes.
you told me that this was the first car you bought?
Yeah, I bought that car 62 years ago when I was 13 years old, paid $30 for it, and drove it to high school and drove it to college.
So this is a 30?
It's a 30 rumble seat deluxe coupe.
No kidding. So was it in this condition, or have you ever?
No, it was a parts car. It was another guy's parts car. My dad and I have restored this car. I just don't know if I can bring myself to sell it. He's dead now, and that car is my dad, to me.
Yeah. It seems to me you have a British car passion.
Well, yes. In the 1970s, there was a lot of stuff happening with MGTCs. And I knew somebody that had a TD, and I started to fall in love with TCs.
These are the first Rileys were featured on Barn Find Hunter, by the way.
Riley, they're pretty rare. My friend who was my main guy who sent me an engine, a transmission, and copious information, and he said, Mike, you're a family man, you need a Riley Lynx. So I ended up buying a Riley Lynx sight unseen from California, and this is it. A lady contacted me through my Riley club who used to own this car. She raced it in the Singapore Vintage Grand Prix at the age of 17 in 1972. Wow. So suddenly I have a car with a history.
Yeah. And what year is this?
It's a 37, and that's a 37. There are only about 5 of these, 5 of those, and 4 of the Sprites in America.
Well, how long have you had this one?
2007, I think.
Is that aluminum body?
Yeah, it's aluminum over ash. All of them are. They have steel fenders, wings. This is a delightful car. You can see the fastback styling.
Yep.
It's very Art Deco. It's got amenities you won't believe for 1937.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got wire wheels. It's got a sunroof. It has a semi-automatic transmission, magneto ignition, a Hemi engine.
So how many cylinders is this?
It's a 4.
So double overhead cam.
No, double cam,
Oh.
but they're down in the block.
So it's a double cam in the block.
In the
double
block.
Cam. No kidding.
Triumph motorcycles are very similar to that.
Is it cast iron block and head?
Iron block and head. This engine would have been a 61 horsepower engine. The standard engine was around 50. These cars all have what's called a pre-selector gearbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a pre-selector gearbox looks like. So it is an aluminum case, but there are a lot of internals. The internals are sets of gears, planet and sun gears, that are in different rotation. There's 3 forward and a reverse. Those gear sets are brought in by a pedal, which is positioned where the clutch pedal usually is. So you pre-select one, hit the select pedal, and when the clutch picks up RPM, you take off. And the next thing you're going to need is 2, so you pre-select 2. And when you want it, you just push the clutch pedal. Okay. Among their most serious users was London Buses, because you don't make the shift, you can't miss the shift, and they could hire any idiot to drive the bus and not blow up the engine.
Isn't that sad? Well, I've learned about Riley's today. All right, well, we're standing next to a car here that's near and dear to my heart. So originally these came with a 260 cubic inch Ford engine. It was a Sunbeam Alpine but it was called a Tiger because it had a Ford 260 in it with a 2-barrel. But this has been modified beyond that. Is it 4-speed?
Yeah, I think it's top loader, the original trans. It's got a positive traction unit. I've got the paperwork on when that was added.
A luggage rack, I love it. So let's take a look at your TC.
Okay.
So you bought the TC as is. You still haven't driven a TC. Like
That is correct. A friend of mine had this in Ohio. It had at one time been a show car.
Wow.
The engine was seized. The paint was terrible. It had lived under mouse for 25 years. And so I said, okay, it's got to come apart. I've got the engine machine work done. And the dash is real nice. The seats are pretty decent leather.
So this is your ongoing project?
Yeah, along with all the other ones.
Yeah. And what about the bug eye here? Wire wheels, look at that.
It's got wire wheels, later disc brakes. It's got the 1275.
So I've seen in several of your cars, you make these custom cup holders.
Well, if you're going to use them, you got to have a coffee cup holder.
Is this a 1275 in here?
Yeah. And
So 1275 makes this a big bore. There was a little 948 engine that was weak and somewhat troublesome, but when you put that 1275 in here out of a later model Sprite, it turned this car into a baby Cobra.
it is like having a roller skate. And I tell a lot of people that I consider this car delivering as much fun as you can have in a car without having sex. If you are not smiling while you're driving this car, there's something wrong with you, not the car. So that's my cars. I love them. And here they sit.
You never know where you're going to find cars. Sometimes they're in a basement garage on a golf course. Who would have thunk it? Mike, thanks. You're
welcome,
our guy, and I know you love these cars. It's so obvious. You know, there might be a Mike in your town or your neighborhood. Get to know him. Happy hunting.